Now we'll learn how to make use of inline declaration while making a loop and also for the read statement. Along with inline declaration in read statement, we'll learn the new concept of reading a read statement. Here you can see for the old syntax, after doing data declaration, we make the loop at internal table into work area, and here the work area first we already defined. And similarly for read table, we read the table from table into work area either by index or by providing the parameters. In the new ABAP syntax, again, we don't have to define the work area prior to using it in the program. So you can declare them at a runtime where we are using them. Like here, loop at my internal table into data in the bracket, the work area, which we want to define. Here we don't have to use a direct sign because this loop will be executed on the application server, and the direct sign we have to use only when we are fetching data from the database table. The read statement to read a particular index along with the inline declaration is like this. Data into bracket, we can write the new work area which we are going to define, internal table name, and it is a bracket like write as index number. And in case if you want to read by passing the parameter, we have to define the code like this, like data, work area, internal table, parameter name, and the parameter value. So we learn this in our same program which we have created to define the internal table, work area, and the variables. So let's log into SAP system and perform all this activity. So here in our program set demo underscore new ABAP syntax, I will define first internal table with the inline declaration. Now let us see how to make a loop. I'm making loop at gt underscore bkp of 1 into now defining the work area, the same line gs underscore bkp of 1. If you want to add any where clause, you can add a where clause here. And end loop. Okay, now let's see, I want to display the value of this work area, so I'm making here as exist, and I want to display cl underscore demo underscore output. Let's say write gs underscore bkp of 1. So this is how to define a work area. Now let's see how to define a field symbol. CL demo output. Okay, this is right, fine. Now next what I will do, I will define a work area, field symbol. How to define field symbol? Loop at gt underscore bkp of 1, assigning field symbol bracket, then let's say fs1 field symbol 1. Here also I am making an exit. I just want to show the values which we are getting inside this. Now here we write cl underscore demo output, and I will display the value of field symbol, that is fs1. Save, check, and activate. Let's set a breakpoint here to check the values. Here I am entering as 2022. Double click GTBKP1. Here we have 6 records. If I press F5, see, we'll get a value in this gs underscore work area. Okay, similarly, now This is the field symbol 1, FS1. So this is how we define the work area and field symbol while making a loop. See the output. This is for GSP FF1 and this is field symbol 1. So like this, we can define work area and field symbol at a runtime in a loop. Now let's see our next requirement, that is read statement. Now take example, we have a record in this GT underscore BKP of 1 and my requirement is I want to read the first record of this table. So what I will do first, I will sort this internal table by due KRS, PELNAR and fiscal year GJHR. Now my requirement is I want to read the first record of this table. So if you want to read using the old syntax, so how we write, like read table GT underscore BKPF1 into GS underscore BKPF1 index 1. I'm reading by passing an index. Okay, so now for using the old syntax, first we have to define this work area. Because I not define this work area as of now. If I click on check, the field GSBKF1 is unknown. Okay, so for old syntax, first we have to do data declaration. But with the new syntax, just add data sign over here and system will read the record. So this is how we can read the record. Okay, let me execute this. I have to write display here instead of write statement. This CL demo output we use only for demo purpose when you're working in development system, not in the actual system. Now here I am reading the first record with index 1. So I will execute here. Let me enter the fiscal year 2022 and execute. See the output. This is also type of inline declaration at the runtime. Now if you want to read using the parameter, let's say I want to pass the fiscal year hard coded. Okay, I will comment the first one and let's say with key GJHR equals to 2022. Save, check, activate. Okay, or let me try some other way. You want to pass S underscore GJHR low value. Okay, so let's see the output, whether we are getting the required output. Yes. Okay, we can see the required output here. This is how we can make use of read statement. I pass in the index, I pass in the variable. Now the next concepts. This is one concept of reading the data. The new concept is very simple. We don't have to write all this code. It is very simple. Data in the bracket, define the work area equal to, write your internal table name, write your index, set, check, activate. So what we are doing here? See, this complete piece of code is replaced by this simple code. On the left hand side, define the work area, right hand side, internal table and index number which we want to read. Execute. Same output. So this is very easy for the read statement. Now this is the index 1. Now the issue here is, take example, suppose this variable is, my internal table is blank. Okay, so first either we have to check if GT underscore BKP1 body is not initial. Okay, like this we can write the code. And in case my internal table is blank, so we will not get any data in the output. We will not get any data in the output because it is blank. No record is there. Okay, so but now the example we want to avoid this if statement. Every time we don't want to write this if statement, and in case now if the table is blank, see what will happen. If I execute this, I don't have any record with 2023. If I execute, see the dump here. System has the exceptions CS underscore psi itype line now found. this row not contained in the table. So how to avoid this dump? How to avoid this dump? For this, there are two options. Option number one, preferred one, try and catch block. How to write this? Try, and in the catch exception block, you can write the same exceptions and try, and in between we can write whatever we want to display, like no record found or anything, any meaningful we can write. Okay, now again if I execute this by entering fiscal year 2023, see, no record found. So this is how we can avoid the dump. Now every time we don't know like which exception will be triggered. So if you're not sure, like in different scenario, different exception may be triggered. So to avoid that confusion, by default we can use cs_root class exceptions. By default, you can use this one, cs_root. So because every time in runtime error, in temp error, different exceptions may be triggered. So if you don't know, so better use the cs_root for all. This will also result in the same. This is how we can avoid the dump. This is one method. So let's see what is the another method for the same without using the try and catch block. For the second method, first let me comment this. Now what I will do, see, data into bracket gs_bkpf, this time displaying 2. On the right hand side, value hash, inside the bracket our table name gt_bkpf1, index which we want to read, and here add one more parameter as optional. Here it is optional. Save, check and activate. What I will do here this time, if record found, I will display the record in the output as gt_bkpf2. And if record not found, the output will be blank. Okay, gt_bkpf2 value hash optional. If I enter 2023, see, the record is blank but no dump error. If I pass 2022, I will get one record in the output. Okay, so this is how we read the syntax, we read the index, and we do the read statement in a new way. Now let's take an example. You want to read the last record of this internal table and display that record. So how to do that? Let's continue with the same concept. Just this one I will replace with the index. Now the old way, the old method to read the total number of record in this gt_bkpf1. So first I will write the old syntax as it is with inline declaration. Describe table gt_bkpf1 lines and runtime declaration of variables gv_lines. Okay, and here either we are using this index, this method, or this method. We have to replace this index, hardcode index, with the variable of index name. Save, check, and activate. There is one new method of reading the total number of record that I will explain after this. So set a breakpoint here, execute 22, desktop 3. We have 6 records here. So if I press F5, here I will get an index 6. Now if I press F6, in the output you will get the last record 49002. Check in the table, see the last record is same. So this is how we get we read the index using the old method. Now new method is also there. So new method is also similar. So let's see how we can do the same with the new method. In the name method, to read the total number of records, simply do the data declaration gv underscore lines. On the right hand side, write lines. Inside the bracket, table name, save, check, and activate. Again here, a simplified way of coding. We don't have to write this type table and all this. Put a breakpoint here to check the record at the runtime. Now this time let me execute for fiscal year 2021 where I have some more records. See, here 64 records are there. So in gv underscore lines, if I execute this statement, the row number is 64. Now I want to read the index 64 of this table. That is the last record. And my last record is here ending with 55. So if I execute here, see the output, the Bellina number is ending with 55. So this is how we read a table by different index and all. Now next we'll see how to read the table into work area by passing the parameters. Okay, now let's see how to do the read statement by passing the parameters.